Welcome to Climb a Mountain, an indie author's journey podcast diary. Follow Riley each week as he charts the progress of his indie author business. What are his plans? What will he try next? How are his book sales going? What can you learn from his experience? This is the Climb a Mountain podcast diary, and here is your host, Riley Morrison.
Greetings, everyone. Yes, I did actually get a haircut, so my hair was getting pretty long there, but I was just too busy to go get a freaking haircut. But anyway, it feels much better now. I hope everyone had a good week. This week's definitely been a bit stressful for me. As you saw my new intro video there, well, my brother was actually going to be making a new intro video for me, and he can do a hell of a lot better job than I can. He's sort of a master at editing videos and doing professional quality work. But he's been injured in a bike accident, so in England. So he's sort of not up to the task of doing it at the moment. He's undergone surgery and a whole bunch of other stuff. He really badly broke his arm. Shattered his arm type thing. And yeah, not great. So it's definitely been a stressful time worrying about him, and he's on the other side of the planet from me, so it's put a bit of a dampener on my week, and I guess his week for sure. Hopefully he'll be fine. Well, in big author news, I actually spoke to a really big name author this last week as well. I think it was last Friday. A guy that often releases into the top 100 on Amazon and writes in the litRPG harem genre. And no, he wasn't one of the ones that was banned recently. So I learned a lot from him. We spoke for about an hour on all different things. It was a pretty full-on conversation and pretty frank. I was so glad he did an in-depth look into my books and the reviews and what I possibly could do better and all sorts of other stuff. But the most important things is we were talking about Raid Slayer. And I've decided, based on what he's told me, that the books... Originally I was going to write like these short books, maybe erotica at first, and then it expanded a bit on for that to like maybe 6,500 to 10,000 word books or whatever. So it's gone beyond that now. Based on his feedback, they're going to be like full-length books. On the short length of full length, like they're going to be maybe 50,000 words long. But based on his feedback, I'm going to do that because he really doesn't think short books are going to do well in the genre. And if I keep it like, Vasari Online was 45,000 words, or 47, I think. If I keep it around there, then it should be fine. Vasari did well for me. I'm sure for his level of success, Vasari would have been an abysmal failure, but for my level of success, Vasari did well. So I'm going to try to make it about the length of Vasaria and, make them full-length books type thing. The other important thing is I'm going to be releasing under Riley Morris and not my silly pen name, Mercer Ujara. There's a couple of reasons for this. One, it looks better with me having more books out, and I hope that by releasing Raid Slayer, it'll help Vasaria Online. They both sort of share the same market for the most part. So I may as well release under the same name because one series can help the other. The other major thing is that supposedly harem readers are very picky. If they even smell the whiff of an author who's written to market, they'll turn on them basically. I don't feel like I'm fully one of those authors. Yeah, I'm writing harem, I suppose, because it's a genre that exists and people are reading those books at the moment. But it's not really that far from what I've already written. I've been writing game lit, like the Lost Sun books are game lit light, since 2015, before I even really knew anything about this genre. And then obviously for Vasari Online, I started writing back in January this year, one of the two, December last year. And then all I've done is added a harem into it, although Vasari Online was almost going to be a harem book as well, and it kind of is. I mean, the guy ends up with, the secondary main character and her demon succubus pet. So I don't know. I don't know if like having two partners makes it a harem or not. And I still might even make that a harem. I just don't think I will, because I like the idea of the guy being with the two women basically in that. So, and really the woman and her demon pet are an extension of one another basically. But Raid Slayer is definitely my first full harem book. But I mean, it's a lot like Vasari Online in some ways, just with the harem. I mean, the story is obviously different, the world and some of the game mechanics, but it's the same sort of concept, being stuck in a game world and all that sort of stuff. So, anyway, even if someone thinks I'm writing to market, I'm cashing in type thing, I told you this is a very controversial subject too last week, but well, there's nothing I can do about it. The most important thing for me personally is that Raid Slayer's got me back into writing. As in my first few diary videos, I was often talking about my lack of motivation, and just the page reads and the drama around Vasari Online really got to me. But yeah, these books have made me come back in a big way, and I'm loving writing. I wrote over 40,000 words in a month, which I haven't done for a while. So I've been pretty productive for me. I want to up my production to the next level, because that was something else that I talked about with this big name author. He has a full-time job, a wife and a kid. The son is about the age of my son. And yet he manages to write 2 hours, I guess, a day. I don't know if it's unbroken or not. But yeah, he manages to get a new book out of about 100,000 words, I think, every 6 to 7 weeks. So he's obviously got his schedule down like to a T, basically. So that's something I need to do in the coming days to try to up my productivity. I really would love to be in his situation where I could get a book out every 6 to 7 weeks. I mean, I was doing that, but they weren't all full-length books, and I really still work on a sort of haphazard system where I do stuff as needed. And the reason for that mostly is because of my sleep problems, and my day job is definitely like there's no set timetable. I do it when I want. That causes issues, but yeah, just having health problems like I have back problems and stuff and sleep problems, it does make it hard. So sometimes I'm really tired and other times I'm wide awake and it's 2 a.m. sort of thing. So those sort of things make it difficult to have a really tight time schedule. But I'm going to be working on that, because I think that if I can get the timing thing down, it's definitely going to help with my productivity. At the moment, I'm about 40k words into book 1 of Raid Slayer. I would have been more than that because I combined books 1 and 2, but I've had to go back and change stuff and edit stuff to make the story work as a full-length book. Some things that I sort of glossed over before, which was probably bad of me in some ways, I've actually fleshed out now. Like the most important one of those things is the player housing system. The player had a house that he was going to use as like a central base that he could teleport back to at any time, and there were upgrades and stuff for it, but he wasn't going to worry about them originally. But now I'm actually making the player house a lot more important part of the story. They're going to upgrade the house so the butler type character can make potions and food for them, and anyway, a whole bunch of other stuff, and I'm sure at least a few of the sex scenes are going to be happening in this player house. So yeah, I want to focus more on that as well. And you know, that's a different thing about litRPG. Like, you can have the central story, and normally as a writer you try to stick to the central story as much as you can if you want. Unless you're writing a massive Brandon Sanderson epic or something. Like, you don't want to diverge too far from the very central plot of the story, but with litRPG you have a bit more room to maneuver. And him upgrading the house is still important in the central part of the story, because it's going to give him stuff that will help him on his main quest. For example, the health potions. Once the butler lady can make them, then yeah, they're going to help him fight bosses and all the other type of stuff. So they're still important to the central story, but it's also a bit of a diversion because they're going to go off and do a a whole bunch of side quests, basically. I mean, if you know what playing games is, like role-playing games and stuff, you know what side quests are and how they're often a distraction from the main story, but they still help you in the main story in the fact that they give you items and they help level you up or whatever. So it's going to be a bit like that. So anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I'm actually adding a story like outside the game to it too. So there's progression, a background story that exists outside the game. So it's going to add a bit more mystery to it as well. So anyway, just a whole bunch of other stuff that I never even considered in the first draft of Raid Slayer. So it's totally morphed into something far greater than I ever thought it would. But then, to be honest, that seems to be every one of my books, especially the Lost Sun books. So I'm a lot more experienced now. I'm not going to let this get out of hand or anything. Once Raid Slayer's out of the way, I'm going to be going straight back into Fesario Online Book 3. I actually might hold off on releasing Raid Slayer until I've got Book 3 of Fesario Online pretty much out of the way. My plan is to release Raid Slayer and then maybe Fesario Online Book 3 a week after that or something. I mean, it's the next best thing to a rapid release, as I'm not going to be writing all the Raid Slayer books, because that's going to take 2 or 3 months. I want to still have at least somewhat resemblance of a rapid release. And the audience for Fesario Online and Raid Slayer are pretty close, so it's almost a rapid release of the same series. Now, I've got plans around this as well. I'm tossing up whether I give away Fesario Online Book 1 for free in the back of Raid Slayer. I'll have joined my mailing list and get Fesario Online for free. And that way, I hope that if I can get people on my litRPG mailing list, not only will I build fans, but that it's going to get more attention for my Fesario Online books. If Raid Slayer takes off, like I really hope it does, of course, I hope it'll help my Fesario Online books. Or if Fesario Online Book 3 does well, and the series starts doing well again now that there's 3 books out, I really hope that people will see Raid Slayer and go into that. And now that my Fesario Online book is wide, I can pretty much do what I want with it. I mean, I will double check I can give it away for free, even though it's for sale, but I'm about 99% sure you can. So anyway, I've got a lot of options I can do with that book sort of thing, and I don't mind giving away Fesario Online for free. The book's made a profit, so at this point, I'm happy with it no matter what happens. The more people that read it, the better type thing. So if I can get both series selling, that'd be awesome, of course, and it's just great now I have a series that can really help the other. With my Lost Sun books, I've mainly focused on that as epic fantasy because it's not game lit enough for litRPG readers to really want to read it type thing. I mean, and most of the gamey, like the game world stuff is in Dawn of the Lost Sun, Book 2. And the game world will be important in Book 2 and 3, but again, it's still got all the tropes of epic fantasy, so it'd be a hard sell as a game lit book. I mean, I'm hoping once I have fans that they'll read all my stuff, of course, but yeah, I think there'll be a lot more fan crossover between Raid Slayer and Fesario Online. So the more I can get them synced together, and readers buying both, the better, basically. I think after I get Book 1 of Raid Slayer out and Fesario Online Book 3, I'm going to go to Raid Slayer Book 2. I'm going to alternate series, and I want to really work on the Lost Sun books on the side. I would love all my 3 series to be finished by the end of first quarter next year. That's my goal. I mean, that's a lot of work ahead of me, but yeah, it'd be mainly the Lost Sun books. I haven't even started writing Book 4 in that. But it's going to be a lot of work, but I'm going to do my best to do that. And alternating series, that's what another thing this big name author does. I think he had 3 series going as well. He alternates series, so he released one book in one series and another book in another series next, and goes back to it, and his fans are okay with that. So I'd love to be in that situation. And actually, I'd love to be in his situation in general, but the most important thing is he's this massive author and he doesn't do any marketing. So, I mean, just being big enough that you don't even have to bother with marketing anymore, you just have to write, that'd be an awesome place to be in. So, I mean, that's a long-term goal for me, I suppose, right now. At the moment, I'm just scratching around trying to peddle a few books, I guess. So, yeah, I'm going to alternate between series and get them out there and hopefully be done with all 3 by first quarter next year. And then, I don't know what I'll do. Probably keep writing litRPG, game lit. I had planned a second series of the Lost Sun books. That happens afterwards. They return to the Earth's surface and the characters in Visara Online and the Lost Sun books meet up type thing. And then they rebuild humanity or whatever. But then there was this greater threat looming on the horizon that's mentioned in the Lost Sun books. So they were going to be about that. But if the series never takes off, I guess it's no point of writing that type of stuff really. So anyway, I'll be thinking of that later. And I have a post-apocalyptic series I wrote 3 books in I need to do something with. So yeah, so much stuff going on there, I guess. At the moment, I'm still planning on going to Amazon exclusive with Raid Slayer, though that might change. I mean, there's, as you know, if you've listened to these videos or if you're paying attention, there's just been a lot of chaos in the litRPG, harem sort of author communities, and a lot of them are going wide. I mean, there's kind of a mass exodus going on at the moment of authors in those genres going wide, especially since the big name Michael Scott Earl was taken down. A lot of authors have said, stuff it, I'm going wide, it's not even worth the risk anymore. And yeah, an amazing amount of them are going wide and not going to be in Kindle Unlimited anymore. And I imagine that, well, I hope as well they bring a lot of their readers with them. There are other systems like KU Wide. And I really hope those things start taking off sort of thing, because right at the moment, it just seems Amazon is attacking and trying to destroy litRPG and harem books for whatever reason. I don't know if they're just rife with people using bots or what the hell's going on, but it's just absolutely crazy. And it's really gutted. I mean, it's a growing genre and this is really gutting it type thing. So some big name authors like ones that release into the top 500 on Amazon are all leaving KU. Or they're going to, for their next book series, they're going to not release it in KU. I mean, this is good for an author. I mean, if we can grow a market for litRPG and harem wide, that'd be great. The more the better, like the readers that go with us, sort of thing. So, yeah, it's just crazy what's happened, and I really just hope these authors can help us who've already gone wide out over there, because it's been pretty lonely, and I think I've sold like 2 or 3 copies of Visara Online wide sort of thing. Not that my Lost Sun books are selling that great wide. And I'm not paying for promotion much. I did pay for a Kobo promotion, and that was a free promotion. I've given away over 800 books, I think, on Kobo. But yeah, the more the merrier, I guess. So in the coming week, I want to finish Raid Slayer Book 1 and polish it up, ready for the proofread, and then I'm going to sit on that, and then I'm going to go, I'll have to read all my notes and stuff on Visara Online Book 3, because it's amazing how much, I haven't worked on it really for a month or so, and it's amazing how much I've actually forgotten in that time. So I need to catch up to speed on that and get into writing that. I'm, over halfway through that book, and I actually planned out the beats for the rest of the book. Like I wrote the chapters and just like a short sentence on what will happen in that chapter. So I'm hoping by doing that I can quickly get back into it, and I would love to have that done by the, say, mid of this month, August. By the middle of August, it'd be great to have that done and then out of the way, and then maybe release the books late next month, maybe. I'm still tossing up like release dates and stuff, and I want to see what happens with the page reads reductions, which will come at about the 10th or 11th or something of this month, and then decide what to do. So yeah, a lot of writing and editing over the next week, and I really hope to be into Visara Online Book 3 by the time I do my next diary episode. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. It's going to be a busy week, and I wish you the best. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Riley's Indie Author Journey podcast. Please subscribe and share the podcast with your author friends. Have a good author week writing and selling your books. Until next time, take care.